Hey guys, so the time has already come. I've only been accepting donations for like a couple of weeks now, and I've already gotten about $300, which is absolutely insane. I'm glad you guys like my stuff, but I didn't think I'd be getting this kind of money this early on. What you see here is the graphics card I'm currently using for rendering, which is the GTX 1070 from EVGA, Black Edition. So it's a card I got as a gift from Christmas of last year, 2016. So it's a good card. It's a good card. It's a good card for gaming, and it's a good card for rendering. Before I got this card, I was using a 750 Ti, which is a fine card for gaming, but it's not a card for rendering at all. It's definitely just a mid-range gaming card, and it just doesn't render quick enough for me to do anything serious with Blender, so I'm glad I got this. But now, since I'm creating scenes that are incredibly complex, notably the magic inside set, that takes ages to render, I needed more power. So at first I was considering maybe I should just my first step should be to get a new motherboard and get a different CPU, because I'm currently rocking an AMD FX chip, which is infamous for being not that good before Ryzen came out. So I was thinking, hey, I'll just get a new CPU. But after some thoughts, I think a better investment is not a CPU, but another 1070. The cool thing about Blender is that it supports multiple GPUs and treats them as separate cores. So if I put these two into the same computer, it'll effectively double the speed it takes to render, half the time it takes. Not exactly half, because there is some compilation that happens before and after the image is done rendering, so and no matter how many GPUs you put in your system, that's not going to make it any faster, but that's a fraction of the time it takes to render. So it's effectively doubling the speed once I put this into my computer. So I'm going to go ahead and unwrap this. I forgot to mention, I did say that I got $300 total from donations so far, but I also had $100 of my own money saved up, which is why I was able to afford this card, because it's a $400 card. This is definitely a worthwhile investment as a first step towards upgrading my system and also hopefully creating more separate computers just for rendering. That would definitely help me out a lot once that time comes. And again, I can't thank you guys enough. It only came from a handful of people, really, that donated to me. Like, it's crazy, just a handful. And it adds up to $300. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, my computer, my current PC setup is currently sitting right here. Whoops. There we go. I'll be installing my card into that system in just a minute. Here she is. Same exact card I already have, but that's exactly what I was asking for. So my next step with donation money, if I were to get any more, is to probably then save up for an actual new CPU. Because while this did end up taking priority over that, I still need a new CPU, because it's an FX chip. It's infamous for being kind of bad, like I said. And I only got it because it was relatively cheap at the time, and plus I wasn't that bright when it came to hardware selection. I've risen up quite a bit since my, well, back then, I guess. And I do plan on getting an Intel CPU. I was considering Ryzen, but, I've been using AMD for so long, I just feel like I should just be done with AMD for now. Just drop to Intel, something that hopefully should just work more reliably, because I've been having a lot of weird technical problems with this computer back here. And I'm assuming it's probably because mostly of the AMD type motherboard that I chose, but also could be the CPU, I don't know. I just swapped to something completely different, I think. Okay. I do believe I have some SLI cables over here somewhere. I don't think this card came with anything. I don't necessarily need SLI or anything, because Blender can treat any GPU in the system as a separate core. If I use SLI in Blender, it'll treat it as one core, but it won't perform as well as just treating them as separate cores. But SLI is better for gaming, which would be nice. But my gaming performance is already pretty good. That's definitely not the reason I got the card. Another card. I'll find it later. I know I've seen one around here somewhere. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get my computer set up for this new graphics card. So currently, in this system I have my 1070, but I also have my 750 Ti in here. Because, while it doesn't help much, I do use my 750 Ti as a secondary GPU for rendering. But I'll be replacing that with another 1070 now, because the 750 Ti doesn't actually help that much, but it does help a little bit. So, it's time to take it out and retire it. At least from the system. I can put it into a different computer at some point. And there she goes. Isn't she cute? I'm gonna go ahead and put that away now. Alrighty. I have to move some cables out of the way, I think. Should I just unplug this? I'm gonna go ahead and unplug my CPU fans. Kind of in my way. It's getting pretty crowded in here. Alright. It's in. Now, the power cables. Alright, let's screw this in. The reason I'm saving up for a new motherboard and CPU is actually mostly because while this case can fit another third 2-slot GPU, this motherboard doesn't have a PCI Express slot in the slot I needed. It has a normal PCI, like the old school PCI slot. What the hell? I should have caught that when I bought this motherboard, goddammit. But anyway, after I plug these CPU fans in, you're mostly good to go. You don't have to be too concerned about my cable management. I'm not too worried about it. You shouldn't either. This cable's kind of blocking it. There we go. 2 GTX 1070s. Number 1, number 2. This is the first one. The one on top is the new one. Bottom is the old one from a couple months ago. This is the new one that I just got just now. If this video uploads, you know it's working, because I wouldn't upload this video if this somehow didn't work. But, yeah, there you go. Just like that. My power has been doubled. Once again, thank you guys for donating to me. I honestly can't really say much other than thank you. I can definitely provide more renders now. Double the pace. More renders will come out more quickly, I think. Of animations, not necessarily like still images. Still images don't take too long. But with animations, they can take a long time. Most of the time I had to, like, sacrifice quality just so I can actually get animations done in a reasonable amount of time without holding my computer hostage. Because when I render with Blender, it takes up all the resources, and I can't use my computer. So the less of that I have to deal with, the better. The quicker renders I have to deal with, the better. So, once again, thank you guys. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. There she is. Number 2. Perfect. Okay, so I have it set to render at one GPU, just using one of them. And you'll see how quick it is. So you see the orange corners? That means the frame is currently actively being rendered. And there's only one of these on screen right now, because only one GPU is active. Let's move on to the next tile. It's currently rendering at about 1,000 samples, 1,024. So, let's see how this goes. I'll have to look into it, but the compilation at the beginning took a little bit longer than I was hoping it would. It took a little longer than I was thinking it would, anyway. I'll have to look into it. It shouldn't be taking as long as it is to compile the BVH, which is all CPU based. Okay. Focus. There we go. That took almost 3 minutes to render. If I render this out, it should take about 1 minute and 40 seconds when I put into consideration the compilation time it takes at the beginning, which is taking a little bit longer than normal. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the second GPU. Just like that, it's on. Alright. Focus. 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 Alright, so it's moving really fast. Okay, so here's one tile that's being rendered right now, and there's the other one. It's all everywhere. Here's one. Here's one. yeah, now they're on top of each other. You see that there's 2 now, which is great because it's basically doubling the render time it takes to actually render the image itself. It's doubling time. Having the time, doubling the speed. I keep getting those mixed up. Having the time. And when it's rendering like a very complex scene, like the Magic Inside set that I have in the works, that takes a long time to render without it looking grainy. But when I have both GPUs working at it, since the compilation at the beginning is such a small fraction of the time it takes compared to the rest of the render, that it will literally just about have the time it takes to render that. Like, I rendered the set at 4K the other day. That took 10 hours. That was including the denoiser tool that came with the latest beta version of Blender that helps with the graininess, so I can render at less samples. That still took 10 hours to render. So yeah, having 2 GPUs is going to help a lot. And as you can see, I was right on the money. 1 minute and 40 seconds. So that's sweet, if I do say so myself. Once again, thank you to my donators. I hope I can spice this up so it doesn't seem like I'm rambling a lot. But I can't thank you guys enough. You know who you guys are.